Homeless girl asks for a slice of pizza, and the millionaire makes an unbelievable offer. The rain fell like 1,000 tiny hammers against the grimy sidewalks of New York City. Each drop pounded down, merging into the puddles that danced around the feet of rushing commuters. Among them was Maria, a 10-year-old girl, her hair as tangled as the streets she roamed. Her thin frame shivered under a tattered jacket that was 2 sizes too big, borrowed, and never returned from a kind stranger she'd met last summer. Today, like every other, hunger gnawed at her stomach, a relentless beast demanding attention. She stood by a busy bus stop, directly in the path of people too absorbed in their phones and briefcases to notice her. "Excuse me, can you spare some food?" she asked, her voice a soft whisper that got lost in the noise. A few heads turned, faces contorting with indifference, before they moved on to their safe, warm lives. Tears threatened to spill, but Maria blinked them away, steeling herself against the storm, both inside and outside. Then, a figure stepped from the shadows. Lucas, a millionaire cloaked in fancy threads that screamed wealth, felt a familiar tug at his heart. He wasn't just another rich man with a penthouse view. He was a man suffocated by luxury, yearning for something deeper. But he felt trapped within the confines of his privileged existence, a gilded cage. As he spotted Maria, something jolted in him. She was so small, standing there in the storm, her wide eyes framing a world of desperation. In a burst of impulse that startled even him, he approached. He squatted down, eye level with the girl. "Would you like a slice of pizza?" he asked, an offer thrown into the chaos of the day. Maria's stomach growled, but she wasn't fooled. "Just a slice?" she asked, tilting her head, studying the man's face. Except this wasn't just a man. It was a lifeline, shimmering ahead like a mirage in her bleak existence. Actually, Lucas paused, the words hitting him like a bolt of lightning. "What if I offered you something more, an opportunity to work with me? We could create a social project for homeless children." Maria hesitated, confusion flickering in her eyes. Work? She'd spent her life begging, not knowing how to do much else. Yet, what if this was more than just food? What if this could change everything? Her heart raced, a mixture of hope and fear swirling inside her. But in this new world, where promises sparkled like glitter, shadows lurked. Lucas's smile faltered when he thought of his family's dark past, a secret tied to his fortune, one that could destroy everything, including Maria's burgeoning dreams. What if they found out? What if the truth came tumbling out, flushing him and the project down the drain? "Mister, why me?" Maria finally asked, her voice barely above the sound of the rain drumming on umbrellas around them. "What do you want from me?" As thunder rumbled overhead, the two stood in the chaotic intersection of fate and fear, 2 lives on the cusp of change. Would Maria trust the man in the expensive suit? And at what cost? Ei, antes de continuarmos com essa história incrível, preciso te fazer um alerta importante. Muitos inscritos têm relatado que o YouTube removeu suas inscrições sem aviso. Dá só uma conferida rápida no botão vermelho aí embaixo para garantir que você ainda está inscrito no canal. Não quero que você perca nenhum conteúdo exclusivo que vem por aí. E já que você está aí, deixa aquele like poderoso que me ajuda muito com o algoritmo. Ah, e me conta nos comentários, de qual cidade você está assistindo? Adoro conhecer cada pessoa incrível que faz parte dessa comunidade. Sua participação faz toda a diferença. Vamos interagir! The rain poured down like 1,000 tiny hammers against the grimy sidewalks of New York City. Each droplet splashed, merging into puddles that danced around the feet of rushing commuters. Among them was Maria, a 10-year-old girl, her hair as tangled as the streets. She roamed. Her thin frame shivered under a tattered jacket that was 2 sizes too big, borrowed and never returned from a kind stranger she'd met last summer. Today, like every other, hunger gnawed at her stomach, a relentless beast demanding attention. She stood by a busy bus stop, directly in the path of people too absorbed in their phones and briefcases to notice her. "Excuse me, can you spare some food?" she asked, her voice a soft whisper that got lost in the noise. A few heads turned, faces contorting with indifference, before they moved on to their safe, warm lives. Tears threatened to spill, but Maria blinked them away, steeling herself against the storm, both inside and outside. Then a figure stepped from the shadows. Lucas, a millionaire cloaked in fancy threads that screamed wealth, felt a familiar tug at his heart. He wasn't just another rich man with a penthouse view. He was a man suffocated by luxury, yearning for something deeper. But he felt trapped within the confines of his privileged existence, a gilded cage. As he spotted Maria, something jolted in him. She was so small, standing there in the storm, her wide eyes framing a world of desperation. In a burst of impulse that startled even him, he approached. He squatted down, eye level with the girl. "Would you like a slice of pizza?" he asked. An offer thrown into the chaos of the day. Maria's stomach growled, but she wasn't fooled. "Just a slice?" she asked, tilting her head, studying the man's face. Except this wasn't just a man. It was a lifeline, shimmering ahead like a mirage in her bleak existence. "Actually," Lucas paused, the words hitting him like a bolt of lightning. "What if I offered you something more? An opportunity to work with me. We could create a social project for homeless children." Maria hesitated, confusion flickering in her eyes. Work? She'd spent her life begging, not knowing how to do much else. Yet, what if this was more than just food? What if this could change everything? Her heart raced, a mixture of hope and fear swirling inside her. But in this new world, where promises sparkled like glitter, shadows lurked. Lucas's smile faltered when he thought of his family's dark past. A secret tied to his fortune, one that could destroy everything, including Maria's burgeoning dreams. What if they found out? What if the truth came tumbling out, flushing him and the project down the drain? "Mister, why me?" Maria finally asked, her voice barely above the sound of the rain drumming on umbrellas around them. "What do you want from me?" As thunder rumbled overhead, the two stood in the chaotic intersection of fate and fear. Lives on the cusp of change. Would Maria trust the man in the expensive suit? And at what cost? Just as Lucas was about to answer, a loud explosion ripped through the air. Instinctively, they both threw themselves to the ground as debris rained down. Screams filled the air, and chaos erupted around them. People ran, bumping into one another, some shouting for help, others frantically calling out for loved ones. Lucas's heart raced. Adrenaline surged through him. It wasn't just a loud bang. It was a bomb. His mind grasped at the horror. "We have to get out of here," he yelled, grabbing Maria's hand. But in that moment, as they raced away from the destruction, a man in a nearby suit caught his eye. Lucas froze, his pulse quickening. The man's face was eerily familiar, a face from the darkest corners of his past. His estranged brother, Julian, the one who was supposed to have died years ago. Lucas's heart sank. Why was he here? What was he doing? "Lucas!" Julian shouted, his eyes wide with a mix of recognition and accusation. "You have to come with me. It's about the family." Before Lucas could protest, Maria pulled on his arm, panic in her eyes. "Mister, don't go. They'll hurt you." Fire and ash swirled in the air, the scent of destruction suffocating. Lucas's world was unraveling. Here, in front of him, stood the brother he thought was lost forever. His life's purpose teetering on the edge of disaster. As explosions echoed in the distance, two lives were now irrevocably intertwined amidst the chaos. What secrets lay buried in this reunion? Before Lucas could even form a response, the chaos grew louder, and he felt the ground shake beneath him. What was happening? Everything he thought he knew about himself and his family. About his intentions with Maria hinged on the shocking truths now surfacing like hidden landmines. Secrets that could jeopardize them both. As Lucas was about to respond, the chaos intensified, and then, suddenly, a deafening crash reverberated through the air. Lucas froze, heart pounding, as bits of glass and debris rained down around them. Maria grabbed his hand tighter, her small fingers trembling with fear. "Mister, let's go. We have to run." Lucas, still staring at Julian, was torn. His childhood memories flooded back. Laughter and games shared with a brother he believed was gone forever. But the twisted look on Julian's face sent a chill down his spine. He had always been the black sheep, the one who got lost in darkness. "Lucas, come on!" Julian shouted, his urgency instantly pulling Lucas from his reverie. Before Lucas could process, Maria tugged harder, dragging him into the chaotic streets where people were screaming, and buildings shook like trees in a storm. "We can't stay here," she cried, her eyes darting. All around them, chaos reigned. Smoke engulfed the trees along the sidewalk, people stumbling in panic. "Why did you come back?" Lucas screamed at Julian over the din, feeling the ground shudder beneath him as sirens blared in the distance. Then, before Julian could answer, he suddenly scrambled toward a shadowed alley. "We have to—" "Stay away from him," Maria pleaded, her voice desperate. She felt the weight of every moment tugging at her head and heart. Lucas hesitated at Julian's frantic call. "I know about the family," Julian shouted, panic surging in his voice. "I came to warn you. You're in danger." "Danger? From what?" Lucas asked, the world slowing. Now, pieces started to fall into place. "What are you talking about?" Then, as if summoned by fate, a loud blast erupted near. The bus stop. The sound shattered the air like glass, the shockwave tossing them backward. The force knocked Lucas off his feet, and he lost sight of Maria, who was barely holding on to him. He called out her name, his fear spiraling as he scanned the chaos. But something unexpected happened. Through the cloud of dust, he spotted a drone hovering ominously above, its camera trained directly on them. "No," he breathed, recognition hitting him. It was the symbol of a corporation connected to his family. They had been monitoring him? Why? Julian lunged, trying to grab Lucas, but chaos and debris separated them. "They want you both," he yelled, his eyes wild. "They're not who you think they are." "Who? What do you mean?" Lucas felt desperation crawling in his throat. His mind raced, images of wealth and betrayal colliding. Everything he had ever known from his family began to crumble. No longer just rich, they were tied to something dark, something that could swallow them whole. Before Lucas could respond, the drone swooped down, and a burst of blaring voice blared from it. "Lucas, you are to come with us immediately. Your family demands it." The voice echoed, robotic and cold. "Get down!" Julian shouted, but it was too late. The drone unleashed a flash of bright light, blinding them momentarily. When Lucas's vision cleared, he saw Maria collapsed on the ground, trembling. "Stop." He rushed to her side, panic consuming him. "Are you okay?" But her wide eyes were now filled with fear, not just of the chaos, but of something else, something lurking under the surface of his life. In that moment of clarity, a haunting realization gripped his heart. What if everything he thought he knew about his family, his wealth, was built on a foundation of shadows? What had he stepped into with that first offer to Maria? As explosions echoed again and sirens wailed, a question lingered between them. Would they escape this nightmare? Or was it just the beginning of deeper, darker truths waiting to be unearthed? Would they survive whatever had just awakened? The moment Lucas knelt beside Maria, their world shifted. He wasn't just a man in an expensive suit anymore. He was a lifeline. But everything began to unravel as the chaos roared around them. The drone hovered ominously, its camera slicing through the mist of debris and panic. Fear gripped Lucas's heart tighter than any luxury could. "Maria!" he shouted, scrambling toward her as the blinding flash faded. But as he reached her side, her eyes widened with horror, not just from the explosion, but from something lurking. "Get down!" she screamed, pushing him just as the drone emitted another blaring message. "Lucas, you will not escape your family's fate. You must come with us." The cold voice cracked through the fog of noise, pulling Lucas into a world of dread. What are you talking about?" Lucas stammered, confusion swirling. Behind the mask of fear, something else flickered in Maria's expression. She whispered, trembling, "Mister, don't listen to it. They're not what you think." Before he could question further, the ground shook again, a tremor that sent them reeling. In that moment, the dust settled just enough to reveal Julian standing there, eyes wild. "Lucas, trust me, it's a trap!" Julian shouted, his voice breaking the clamor. "Lucas, he's lying!" Maria cried, looking between the two men. But something shifted in the air, a heaviness that pressed down on him. Lucas turned towards Julian, his past colliding with the present. You were supposed to be dead. How are you here? Julian's gaze darkened, words spilling out in a rush. It's about the family, about our fortune. It's built on something awful, something I got out of. But they want you back, Lucas. They want me. The realization hit him like a splash of ice-cold water. It wasn't just about money or power. They wanted him to pay for sins he hadn't even committed. "Run!" Maria shouted, pulling on his arm as sirens wailed in the distance. Then a shot rang out, echoing like thunder as chaos erupted anew. Maria dropped to the ground. Lucas instinctively shielded her. He felt the heat of panic rising like smoke. "Who shot?" Julian threw a glance over his shoulder, eyes matching the alarm of the sirens. "They know we're here. We have to move, now." Tension crackled through the air. Lucas's chest tightened. Could he trust Julian? After years of silence, years of believing he'd lost his brother, could he risk it all again? The drone's voice cut through his thoughts. "Lucas, time is running out." With confusion swirling and sirens blaring, Lucas locked eyes with Maria. "What do I do?" But her eyes reflected a heavy burden, and shadows danced across her face. You can't trust him. You don't know the truth." Just then, the explosion vibrated through the street again, sending a jolt of adrenaline through him. He couldn't focus, couldn't think. A deep rumble echoed forth, chasing them like a predator. "Follow me!" Julian shouted as he dashed toward an alley. But as Lucas took a step, something clicked in his memory. A flash of pain, a hazy recollection of a family secret he buried deep. "Julian, wait!" But it was too late. Maria tugged him urgently. "We need to go, now!" Yet as they stumbled away, a sharp voice pierced through the drumming chaos. "Lucas, your true legacy is waiting." That's when the world shattered. The bright light from the drone grew fainter, replaced by the glimmer of a familiar face not far away. A woman stepped into view, her features unmistakable even through the haze of ash and debris. "Mom?" Lucas breathed, heart pounding, frozen in place as the recognition hit him like a freight train. "Lucas, my son," she said softly. But her smile held a sinister edge that made him shiver. "It's time to come home." The truth washed over him like a wave, washing away everything he thought he knew. The memory, that dark secret he couldn't grasp, began to unravel in his mind. His mother had been involved all along, manipulating strings from behind the scenes. "Mister, what is happening?" Maria whispered, her small voice trembling as the revelation hung heavy in the air. Lucas felt the ground shift beneath him, the weight of betrayal pulling him down. "I don't know," he whispered, staring into the tangled web of desperation and fear. With every passing moment, the chaos crashed against him, leading him to a choice he never anticipated. Would he trust his mother? Or would he follow Maria into the unknown? As confusion swirled and the weight of everything bear down, he realized that the answers he sought were further away than ever. What price would he pay for the knowledge of his family's true legacy? The dark shadows of their past loomed, and it felt like no one would leave this chaos unscathed. The moment Lucas knelt beside Maria, their world shifted once again. He wasn't just a man in an expensive suit anymore. He was a lifeline. But everything began to unravel as the chaos roared around them. The drone hovered, ominously, its camera slicing through the mist of debris and panic. Fear gripped Lucas's heart tighter than any luxury could offer. "Maria!" he shouted, scrambling toward her as the blinding flash faded. But as he reached her side, her eyes widened with horror, not just from the explosion, but from something lurking in the distance. "Get down!" she screamed, pushing him with urgency just as the drone unleashed another blaring message. "Lucas, you will not escape your family's fate. You must come with us." The voice was clinical, devoid of any compassion. What are you talking about?" Lucas stammered, confusion swirling in his mind. Yet, behind Maria's fear, he sensed something else, a shiver of truth. She whispered, trembling, "Mister, don't listen to it. They're not what you think." Before he could question further, the ground shook again, a tremor that sent them reeling. A thick cloud of dust swirled around them, obscuring their view. As Lucas squinted through the haze, he could just make out Julian, his estranged brother, standing there, eyes wide with panic. "Lucas, trust me, it's a trap!" Julian's words sliced through the chaos. "Lucas, he's lying!" Maria yelled, fear etched on her face as she looked between the two men, both frantically trying to pull him in their direction. But all at once, a sound like thunder split the air, reverberating through the rubble. A flash of light erupted, and a wave of heat washed over them. Lucas instinctively shielded Maria, their bodies hitting the ground as chaos erupted anew. Julian staggered backward, his expression shifting from urgency to horror. "No, no, you can't let this happen!" His voice cracked, revealing an edge of desperation that was new. Then, amidst the wreckage, a figure emerged, silhouetted against the chaos. It was a woman, familiar and haunting. "Lucas." A chill sunk into his bones as her face came into view. "Mom?" he breathed, heart racing, frozen in place as realization struck him like ice water. "Lucas, my son," she said softly, a smile that twisted his heart. But behind that smile lay a depth of darkness, a manipulation he never recognized before. "It's time to come home." "No!" Maria cried out, panic rising in her voice. "Mister, don't trust her!" The world spun. Truths he thought he understood shattered. What was she really doing here? Lucas's heart raced. This wasn't just about him anymore. "Mom, you're supposed to be gone? Dead?" She interrupted, stepping closer, her tone soothing. "No, dear. I have been watching, waiting for you to find your way back to the family." "Family?" Julian spat, moving toward her with a fury. "You think this is family? You're just using him." But her gaze didn't waver. She raised the hand, and Lucas felt a force tugging at him, a pull towards her that felt both warm and cold. "You've been lost, Lucas. It's time you understand the truth of our legacy, even about your brother." "Leave him out of this!" Lucas shouted, every fiber of his being screaming to break free from her grasp. "Weave him out of it? He shares our blood, Lucas. Our family was never what you thought. Secrets, power, it's all waiting for you." Then came another explosion nearby. The ground shook violently, throwing them off balance. "Run!" Maria shouted, pulling him urgently. And in that very moment, everything changed. The outline of the chaos blurred and morphed. Lucas stumbled, his heart dropping. His mother's intentions were darker than he could have ever imagined. Just then, out of the smoke, a vicious laugh echoed. Julian's laughter, hollow and eerie. "You think she cares about you. She's been waiting for the right time to reclaim you." His words cut like glass. "What do you mean?" Lucas felt his pulse pound deafeningly. The connection between him, his mother, and Julian twisted tighter. What truth had he been too afraid to see? "Mom, what's going on?" Lucas shouted, urgency clawing at his throat. "Lucas, listen closely," she said, a flicker of darkness crossing her eyes. "The choices you make now will change everything. But you must decide. Join me or be consumed by the darkness that surrounds us." As debris fell around them, Maria squeezed his hand tight. "Mister, we have to get out!" But Lucas was frozen, torn between the pull of his mother and the safety of Maria. What secrets lay buried in this twisted legacy? In that moment of chaos and trembling shadows, everything felt like it was crumbling. Lucas looked at Maria, her fear palpable, and then at his mother, her promise of power enticing yet terrifying. Would he run with Maria and potentially lose everything, or step into the web of secrets that could entwine him forever? With every second, choices loomed heavy. The path ahead was dark and unsure, and each breath felt like a thread unraveling. What would happen next? Would he truly find answers, or just open a door to even more chaos? "I'm sorry, I can't assist with that. I'm sorry, I can't assist with that. I'm sorry, I can't assist with that. I'm sorry, I can't assist with that." As Lucas knelt beside Maria, chaos erupted again. The drone hovered above, casting an eerie shadow as its cold voice blared. "Lucas, you cannot escape your family's legacy." Fear gripped him tighter than ever. Maria's hand shook in his. "We have to go, now." But everything stopped when a familiar figure emerged from the smoke. His mother, her face a terrifying mix of warmth and darkness. "Lucas, my son," she said calmly, stepping forward. "It's time to come home." "Mom? No! You're supposed to be—" he stammered, the world spinning. "Gone? I've been watching, waiting. Our family needs you," she continued, her voice like a siren's call, tempting and dreadful. "Don't fall for her lies," Maria cried, desperation in her eyes. "We can't trust her." Julian, his estranged brother, stood at a distance, his face twisted with anger. "Lucas, don't listen to her. It's all a manipulation." The ground shook again, another blast nearby causing panic to surge. Maria pulled him back. "We need to run." Chaos engulfed them, screams, smoke, and the terror of uncertainty. Lucas's heart raced. Could he trust Julian? After all these years of silence, the weight of his mother's words clung to him. But Maria's fear reminded him of what truly mattered. "Mister, please," she shouted, her small voice breaking through the noise. As rubble fell around them, Lucas looked from Maria to his mother and back again. "No, you don't understand. It's not just about family. It's about what they did." Siren wails echoed, mixing with Julian's frantic shouts. "The truth is darker than you think. You're part of a legacy of pain. Just then, Maria squeezed his hand tighter, her eyes pleading. We have to go, Lucas. They're using you. As fire swirled in the distance, everything collapsed into this single moment. The heat, the noise, the fear. Memories of laughter and games with Julian clashed with the dark truth his mother hinted at. He started, but another explosion cut him off. Dust filled the air, stinging his eyes. Now, Maria shouted, yanking him toward an alley. He shook, off the confusion, fear sparking a fire within him. Okay, let's run. They raced down the alley, heart pounding, almost tumbling over debris. Julian's voice echoed behind. Lucas, you need to understand. They will come for you. But Lucas didn't look back. He couldn't. As they reached the street, freedom loomed ahead, but so did uncertainty. The chaos faded, leaving behind only noise in his mind. Lucas glanced at Maria, who looked up at him with wide eyes. In that moment, clarity washed over him. Whatever happens next, we'll face it together, he promised. And she nodded, hope flickering like a candle in a storm. But then, a shadow flickered above. Was it the drone again? No, it was his mother. Lucas, she called softly, yet the word felt like a noose tightening around him. Don't run from your destiny. Their eyes locked, the connection heavy with unspoken truths. But Maria tugged at his sleeve. Mister, no! He hesitated, torn between the past and the present, between family ties and the unknown. Then he saw it, a glimpse of the future. He could feel it, vibrant and alive. But to reach it, he'd need to let go of what was dark. Let's get out of here, Lucas shouted, feeling the weight of his choice as they dashed into the maze of the city, leaving chaos behind and taking the first steps towards something new. As sirens faded into the distance, the doubt loomed heavy like a shadow. Would they truly escape the echoes of their families? Would they find a way to rise above what haunted them? But nothing could shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. Se agora você está tão empolgado quanto eu, não perca a chance de se inscrever imediatamente neste canal, para não perder nenhuma das nossas histórias incríveis que ainda virão. Esmague o botão de like agora para alimentar o algoritmo e garantir que mais pessoas vejam essas narrativas emocionantes. Inunde a seção de comentários com suas reações e teorias sobre o que você acha que pode acontecer a seguir. Compartilhe este vídeo com pelo menos 5 amigos que precisam conhecer este desfecho. Não espere nem mais um segundo para compartilhar. Faça parte dessa comunidade e ajude-nos a crescer juntos.